So, I was the first person in my family to go to college. Oh, I expected a different slide here, and I had a great joke. But I wasn't the first person in my family to wear ugly sweaters, and there would be a photo of my family in ugly sweaters. The joke falls flat without the sweaters. So in my first year of college, I struggled a lot. And I really kind of floated around at a large university. But in my second year, I had a professor named Claude Cookman who took me aside, and he had a lot of great things to say about me. And he said, I think you have a lot of potential. And so I started to see myself a lot differently. And I started to really apply myself. And I did well. I started to ask questions. I started to engage more with other professors. And I made the dean's list a few times, and I graduated on time in 4 years, much to my parents' relief. And so when I was looking around, not quite sure what I was going to do with my life, I went to a literacy organization, and I volunteered, and I got matched up with a guy named Juan, who had 3 kids and 3 jobs, and he struggled to find the time to meet with me. But I could see that it was making a really big difference. And so after about a year, it was clear that his kids were doing better, he was doing better at work, and I got the literacy bug. And so I took an opportunity in Durham, North Carolina to work at the Durham Literacy Center, and I taught GED classes. And one of the people I worked with there was named Janie, and she was a mother. And she had 2 kids, she was dyslexic, and she was leaving an abusive relationship. And she said things to me like, I'll never do this, I'm so stupid. And so I knew that the thing that I needed to do most was to really help her believe that she could change her life. And so I worked with her for a couple of years. And before I left Durham to move here, she had passed 3 of her tests, and she needed to pass 5. So when I came up here, I told Janie, you can do this, I know you can. And about 4 months later, I got a letter from her, and she said, I passed all 5 of my tests. I got my GED, I'm enrolled in nursing school, and she said to me in her letter, I would have never done this if it hadn't been for you telling me I could do it. And so that's when I realized that there are 3 keys for all of us: confidence, support, and connections. In order to really see ourselves differently and to see opportunities for ourselves in our lives, those are the keys. And so when I moved here to Madison in 2000, I worked providing job skills to low-income people. And one of the students that I had did great in the class. She got an internship at UW Hospital. And the hiring manager called me one day and said, she never applied for a job. And I said, are you kidding me? I had applications in front of people all the time. And so I took an application, I put it on her front door, and I wrote a note, and I said, Laura wants to hire you. And then I heard a couple of months later, she got the job. And the next time I saw her, I went up to her and I said, well, why didn't you apply? And she said, I didn't believe they would want to hire somebody like me. And so that's why I do what I do at Literacy Network, because we provide people with so much confidence and the skills, hundreds of people every year through our volunteer programs and our classes. And I feel so honored to be able to be in that position to provide that. And so I was susceptible to the advertising of Big Brothers Big Sisters. And I applied to become a mentor, and I started mentoring a young man named Terrell, who was 9 years old at the time. And he pushed all my buttons, and he just, yeah, man, I tell you, and he's still pushing my buttons. But we've worked through it, and he's made the honor roll twice. The last 2 quarters, he's made the honor roll. And he tells me things like, I'm off the streets now. Mentoring has helped me so much with being more polite, saying please and thank you. And we play a ton of basketball, as will talk about. And he says, if his MBA career doesn't go so well, he might become a lawyer. So that's helping him out in a lot of ways. And I truly believe that if we want to change the human condition and change our society, we absolutely need people like you who are in this room to come forward and mentor or tutor people. Because without those folks who are telling other folks that they can do it, those opportunities are not going to exist, and people are going to remain in poverty and remain in that cycle. So what I would advise you to do is to look for those opportunities and believe that you can really change the world. And as we say at Literacy Network, the life you change may be your own. Thank you very much.